It's the activated AF1. First and foremost, I'm going to say peace, power, and soul. And yeah, we the Futurtarians tapped into the highest dimension, dealing with the 13th and the 14th dimension. So when you break it down to metaverse, when you go into Facebook and how they switched it from Facebook to Meta. The reason why I'm hitting this topic is because all this stuff is futuristic intel that's being played out. Breaking down the number 8. The number 8, what is it? It's the loop process. To keep who looped? Who's going to be looped? Right? Who's going to be looped? Dealing with this three-dimensional realm. See, and this is a beautiful thing right here. You know what I mean? Shout out to Facebook for putting up the 8 symbol, because when you're dealing with these people out here that are being looped mentally and they don't want to hop out the loop process, that's their fault. That's their fault. That's why I said shout out to Facebook for that, because all this is being put in the forefront, dealing with the number 8, dealing with the loop process. When you do, I always stress that loop, because when you're dealing with spirituality, religion, tarot cards, all that stuff that keeps you in the loop process, has your mind going back in circles. I'm going to give you an example with tarot cards. Your tarot cards don't change. Your tarot cards don't change. What do you mean by that, AF1? They're the same cards. Just like when you play poker, when you play spades, the cards don't change. So how is that going to be futuristic? How is that going to be futuristic if the cards don't change, if the cards don't evolve? Your cards are supposed to evolve. If anything's not evolving, then it doesn't mean nothing in for the future. So I'm using tarot cards as an example. All your cards, when you take those cards out that box and you put them on that table and you shuffle them and you reveal them, it's the same cards. It's the same cards. So how is that evolving people moving forward into the future? Well, actually the ones that's moving forward into the future, dealing with the 8 loop process. See, and this is a warning shot from Facebook. This is a warning shot through the cyberverse. This is a warning shot from the future. Dealing with the 8 symbol. Now, if you go back to my video I did about a year ago about the number 8, on how it's the loop process. So why is that so ironic that I put out a video with the number 8 and now you're dealing with Facebook and they got the meta sign as it's not the number 8 because the curves are sort of off. So it's not the number 8, but it can represent that easily. It could represent that easily. So when you're dealing with, especially dealing with this, because I used the Facebook new logo. So, you know, obviously they probably have copyrights to it. But one thing that I'm not doing, I'm not down talking Facebook's decision, because this decision that they made was actually a decent decision, because now we're moving into a different spectrum, a different cyber acceleration. Because now what they're saying is with the 8 is keeping people looped into whatever they want you to be looped in, dealing with Google, Siri, and Alexa, the cyberverse. I always stress everything about algorithms. The only algorithms that's really going to push things is the organic algorithms. What's the organic algorithms, AF1? It's the people. Because the people that are listening to these videos, teachers that are listening to these videos, and they're not saying where the source is at. Nobody, I was on the internet and I ain't really seen nobody break down this symbol, because they're not tapped into the future. They can't break down this symbol. They have to go through us in order for the symbol to be broke down. And it's a great thing that they switched it to this symbol, because that just lets you know that the Futurtarians is altering and shifting the planet. For what? For the future. It's real simple. So you're dealing with this symbol and you're dealing with the word meta, right? When you go to the word meta and you take it in Hebrew, what does it mean in Hebrew? It means dead. It means dead in Hebrew. So subconsciously, they're showing you that people that are going to be looped in the 8, looped in the spiritual realm, looped in religion, looped in stuff that's old, that's in the past, that's not tapped into the future. They're showing you with this that you serve no futuristic purpose. That's what they're showing you. These are warning shots. And that's a great thing. And I'm so glad they made it this symbol. Glad they made it this symbol. You're like, oh, you riding Facebook? No, I'm not. I'm not riding any corporations. I'm not riding anybody's coattail. It's just the simple fact that Futurtarians is altering and shifting the planet. And I keep telling y'all that. There is nothing else. You think that there's something else, but there's not, because you'll see in the future. You'll see in the future when this process gets played out with all the platforms. Allegedly. Let me throw that in there. Allegedly. This process will get played out with all the platforms. You know, who's the zeros and who's the ones? See, because when I went on Google and looked up the symbol, it was so funny because this symbol, when on the bottom of the symbol, it had read something, and then I seen 6 and 9. Like I told y'all, the 6 and the 9 is when you connect it, it is the 8 symbol. Breaking out the circle, breaking out into a 1, breaking out from the circle, the hamster wheel mind frame, breaking out of that and moving into what? A 1. But when you move into that 1, what's next to you? A 0. When you're breaking out the 6 and the 9. So you a 10, you a 1 walking with zeros. That's why the Futurtarians number is the 11. The 11, the number that you're going to see every time that you tap your phone and that pause button comes up. You're going to see that 11 until the day you die. Because it's critical times here. But going back to the Hebrew, that's why in Hebrew it means dead. They're showing y'all that people that's in the 8 loop process, they're mentally dead. Their souls are dead. They mean nothing for the future. If you mean nothing for the future, then you're worthless. You're worthless to move the planet forward, the solar system forward, the galaxy forward, the universe forward, the cosmos forward. Dealing with the multiverses. See, so shout out to Facebook for making this symbol, because it's all being put on the forefront. Because they're showing you, this is a warning shot, because they're showing you who's worth being salvaged and who's worth not. That's why people think that we talking out the side of our neck and we not. See, dealing with teachers. Teachers come over here. You know what these teachers are when they come over here? This is what they do. There's an old post on Facebook. It's an old post. It's been on there for years. And you got this lady looking out the window, and she's peeking out the window through the blinds, and she got one eye looking out the window. And then on the sister's post, it said, yeah, this is what people do when they come on my page. They're peeking on my page, but they never come over here. That's the same thing with the Futurtarians. They peek on the page, but they never come over here. Because they know where the source is at. They know where the power is at. Because power is altering and shifting the paradigm. That's power. Power never dealt with numbers. Because one person can alter and shift the paradigm. Like when you're dealing with kings, when you're dealing with prime ministers, you're dealing with queens, you're dealing with presidents, right? They can shift the whole paradigm. That's just one person. So power has never been numbers. That's strength. There's a difference, especially going through the cyberverse. Yeah, shout out to Facebook for making this symbol, because they're telling y'all, they're basically telling y'all that the loop process is in effect. It don't matter what it is, whatever floats your boat. If you into whatever you're into, anything that's old, anything that's not futuristic to move the planet forward. You know what I mean? So when you're dealing with anything that's not moving the planet forward, then what is that? What is that? That's a liability. That's a liability. That means, see, this right here makes people think. It goes past The stuff the Futurtarians come out with, it goes past what you've been taught and past what you've been reading and past what you've been Googling off Siri and Alexa. Going through the cyberverse. It's going past books. This is futuristic. I told you our souls came through the portals. We're from the future. And a lot of people ain't going to agree with this video, but it's reality because this sign had to be put out there to let y'all know, because I broke this down in my last video. Go to Futurtarian Activation channel and go scroll all the way down to a year ago and go break down. I broke down the number 8. And see, when I was seeing teachers on the internet teaching about the number 8, because everything that's in these books is truth and lies. It's both. It's not just truth. It's not 100% facts. Like y'all like to say facts, it's not 100% facts. It's truth and lies in these books. So when people break down these numbers can be decoded in a futuristic term. These numbers can be decoded in a futuristic term. Dealing with numerology, numerology can be decoded because they got half the numbers right and half the numbers wrong, because they have to put the truth in there with the lies, because then it will be unbalanced with no truth, with no reality. The unbalanced system, because everything deals with balance. Everything deals with balance. That's why I'm used dealing with Thanos, and Thanos was going through the universe, and he was trying to balance everything out. He was trying to balance everything out through the universe. You see, that's what's going on dealing with meta, right? So even go a little bit deeper. This for you teachers out there and your extended students. Remember in hip hop when they say metaphor, what does that really mean? When they say metaphor, remember back in the day, they used to be like, man, he got metaphors. Metaphor. What is the four? The four is the next dimension dealing with this three-dimensional realm. Metaphors. Right? So everything's being put on the forefront. And like I said, man, shout out to Facebook for doing this, because this is futuristic right here. This is moving everything forward. This is actually putting everything in the forefront, letting everybody know if you a 0 or if you a 1. Because zeros are liability. The zeros are liability. Look at the word school. How many zeros is in that? I stress this stuff because everything has to be revealed. Sometimes you have to just, in order for you to put the nail in the wood, sometimes you just got to pound on it. You might be able to use what you call that, the air gun. Take one shot, boom, and it goes in the wood. But sometimes you got to pound it in the wood. This symbol, right, is basically the 2 O's in Google. This symbol is the 2 O's in Google. That's why I like this symbol right here, because this is just letting everybody know where you stand at. Where do you stand at mentally and soulfully? Where do you stand at? Are you a 1? Are you a 0? Are you caught in a loop process? What's the loop process, AF1? That's when you go back from intel to whatever that you, that's when you go back and forth from intel to what you believe. That's the loop process. Intel to what you believe. Intel to what you believe, the loop process. That's why they have put that up here, because now we back from the future. We putting out intel. So now they're going to know everybody's going to be breaking into a 6 or a 9. When you connect them, what do you have? You have this symbol. You have this symbol right here. And in Hebrew, it means dead. In Hebrew, it means dead. I just want to throw that out there because it really is. Because if you're not futuristic, right, and if you're not coming with nothing next, then in the future, the liability possibility, your percentage goes up. Because nobody really wants to hear old stuff no more. The only reason why people want to hear old stuff is because they got a mental illness they have to be catered to. That's what these teachers are doing that's out here on the internet. They're a catering service. What do you do with a catering service? Right? You cater to what they want. So if you're running a catering service, what do? That customer calls the catering service, tells them what they want to taste, touch, smell, what they want to hear being said within their gathering. So what does that service do? They provide them with their services to be catered to. And that's what teachers are. When you're dealing with teachers and they got a lot of following, whatever floats your boat, that's how you make your money, this and that. But that don't work in the future, because numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. If you come out with a YouTube channel, or you come out on any social media website platform, and you just started your social media platform, and it blows up within 6 months, 8 months to a year, and you just over so many K followers, that means you're a caterer. You catering to the zeros. You catering to the zeros out here in the world, the ones that mean no purpose into the future. Because that's why we always looking for the ones. Because when you're dealing with the 1111, the 1111 number is the top of the galactical pinnacle. Because even if you deal with the Big Bang Theory, or even if you deal with a man, or with a deity, or with some type of spirit that made everything, it still comes down to one. Both theories come down to one. Both theories come down to one. Manipulating and controlling zeros with what? You could manipulate and control zeros with what? Dealing with the cyberverse, one finger. Manipulating, controlling the cyberverse with one finger. Manipulating, controlling zeros with one finger. Going through the cyberverse, right? Going through the metaverse. All this stuff is being played out futuristic into the future. And dealing with meta, because that symbol right there is actually a decent symbol, because that's just letting letting everybody know that this stuff is real. You go back to the Futurtarian Activation channel, you scroll down and you'll see that yellow 8. And I broke down this stuff a year ago. And how ironic that the new Facebook symbol is allegedly an 8. Because they know what time it is. It's activation time. It's activation time. You know? Moving through the cyberverse. With what? Stuff that really is going to move this planet forward. Altering and shifting the paradigm. Altering and shifting law and order. Altering and shifting corporations. See, that's why I tell y'all there is nothing else on the planet. Either you're going to move the planet forward, or you're just going to exist and just stay a regular. That's fine if that's what you want to do. But that doesn't look good on your deathbed. Doesn't look good as you transition. It doesn't look good into the future. Because the ones that's in the future, we watching. We watching everything. Manipulating, altering, and shifting matter. Atoms. Nucleus. Electrodes, electrons. Light spectrums. Just like a black hole, the power of a black hole, what does it do? It can take light in there. Consume light. Bending light. So yeah, this is a real quick video on Meta, the Facebook symbol, the new Facebook symbol that you guys are going to start seeing. And it's going to be, that symbol is going to be around for a while. The number 11 symbol, when you tap your phone, like when you watch this video, tap this video once. Just tap it on your phone or your laptop. You got to see that number 11. That number 11 is going to be there. It's the ones walking with the ones. The 2 dots in the middle is the portals. The other ones is the other ones is the other futuristic beings on the other side. The 1111. So yeah, when you're dealing with teachers out here, and they come over here and they take little bits and little pieces and they go put it in their trail mix, that's fine. But then as time goes on, because dates don't lie, and as people start watching these videos slowly but for surely, they're going to see where the source is at, where the energy's at, where the power's at. And then if you don't acknowledge it, it's not going to look good for you. It's not going to look good if you don't acknowledge it. Because certain teachers' channels got pulled down when they used this intel. You know why? Because they're mixing it in a gumbo pot with what? Whatever they teach. All old doctrines, old books. There's 2 zeros in the word book. Look at the method sign. What is that? Allegedly 2 zeros. So always remember, man, it's the ones walking with the ones. That's why the ones will always manipulate zeros into the future. It's the activated AF1. If you like the way the world is, don't like, don't share, don't subscribe. If you want it to alter, subscribe at the speed of light. Peace, power, soul.